everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Gold Rush, part of our D&D 4th edition Weird West campaign, part 16. Today is August 5th, 2024, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to again join us at patreon.com/indooradventures. But let's say you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, well, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds of our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who are you playing today?
Hello everybody, I'm RJ today playing Kid the Genasi Sword Mage. I go by he, him, he goes by he, they. Stinger Line.
Hello, I'm LBHackEmUp, and I'm going to be playing Trisannas, aka Tris, to her friends. She's a Wilden Seeker. I go by she, her. She goes by she, they, or she, any. Trees.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or any pronouns. I play Rakel. Rakel is a human shaman disaster who goes by she, her.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be playing as Carruthers Edelweiss, also known as Ruth to his friends, who is a human ranger, and man, this man is tired. He's tired of ghosts, he's tired of displacer beasts, he's tired of running. But that's not where we begin. Wings, where do we begin today?
We begin with the recap, but first of all, hi everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener, also known as the Canary in the Coal Mine. Let's get started with the recap. Last time, session 15, the posse had a meal with Jacob Crow, the Aarakocra, a friend from Trisannas' past. They learned that Baron von Ferrum is the proprietor of Lethe Springs and has a budget negotiation every month. Foreman Firearms and Dr. Graves answer directly to the foreman. So, Ruth decides to go and get a haircut from the good doctor and pursue that connection. Rakel consults the spirits and realizes that the cycle of death is in a state of arrested development in Lethe Springs. Daisy Graves kidnaps Ruth and Kid. A ghost named Deadman Hands told Tris and Rakel that they had been taken to the debate room, a law user exclusive fighting ring where the dead wealthy elite gamble on their lives. Kid and Ruth were put up against a giant named Thorisaz, who turned out to be Thorny Toad Jim's thorns combined into one creature. Ruth and Kid took them on, with Tris supporting from the stands, but the fight took a turn when Rakel released a displacer beast into the ring. When we last left off, the situation was rapidly spinning out of control. The Thorns called a truce, and the posse began to make their escape. I have decided. I know where this combat is going. Level 9 creature, with the ability to just negate half of any hits that attacks that hit it, is going to be more than a match than pretty much anything in this room, including you all. So we're going to resolve this with a skill challenge. My friends, I would like to know what your goal is here.
It Ruth and Kid out.
Yep.
Anything secondary to that, or is that would you consider that like the primary goal?
That's the
Are there
primary.
any? Yeah. Are there any living people in here?
You, your friends, and the Thorns.
I will say that I have a slightly different primary objective than just getting out. I want to live. I don't want to die again. I have like 3 hit points, so let me
It's
live.
true. You do have 3 hit points. I will also remind you that the effect of the miasma is such that whenever you do regain hit points, it will be half what you normally would.
Time to scramble.
So the bramble.
I would like very much to get Ruth on Moravec and get Moravec to Banff out.
Pretty smart.
I can take care of myself.
Yeah. I mean, an objective is find the people who did this, and maybe kill them. I'm gonna say kill them, but you know, it is what.
All right. Well, let's keep things limited to the scope of the next, immediate actions.
We'll kill them eventually.
Later. All right. Y'all remember the rules of a skill challenge, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But for the audience.
For those at home.
Much bigger. Why not? See it better that way. And it looks more intimidating also. And yes, y'all should go ahead and roll into initiative.
Oof.
Would you consider this to be part of the same encounter?
No, this is a different encounter.
Hey!
Hey!
Just, hey!
Alrighty.
Our encounter powers reset, correct? Okay.
Not your dailies.
Just the encounters.
And I'd say that like
Cool.
you had another encounter earlier this day. So after 2 encounters, you get an action point back. So go ahead and grab yourselves an action point. Sorry, I just realized in my notes here it says "Remember the miasma!" exclamation point, but it's like just because of the nature of this game, it has the energy of "Remember the Alamo." Alrighty. Well, we find ourselves with I believe Rakel and Kid are down in the ring with a displacer beast and the Thorns. Triss is still up in the stands, and Ruth has managed to climb out into the back rooms of the arena. Does that sound right to everybody?
I don't think I was. You said Triss was in the back rooms?
No,
Triss is
Triss
up in
is
the
in the
stands.
stands.
Stands,
Ruth
got it,
is
yeah,
in
okay.
the back rooms.
So, primary goal, escape with your lives. At the top of the round, we have Triss. What is your angle here? What are you going to attempt to do to pursue your goal?
I am going to. I am going to use my insight to try and describe. I mean, I have like the full view from up top, and I can see all these people moving around. I can give them like battle cries as to where they should be going or how to avoid
Okay.
not only this displacer beast but also the people down there.
If you're trying to be like the eye in the sky, you know, like the person to like help like coordinate
Mhm.
this escape, uh I believe that either diplomacy or perception match better, as
Okay.
insight is more reading people than being able to
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Okie dokie. Did you go? Oh,
A-
18.
An 18 is not gonna make it.
Mm.
All right. Anything else from you, Triss, or are we moving on?
I mean, I can't. I could just shoot more, I guess. I
Okay.
mean, I'm cover fire.
Triss, you're up in the stands and you're trying to like get a handle on where like all of your friends are, everyone you care about is.
Mm.
Um, but the debate room has erupted into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the thorns keep on trying to reform and then exploding into a crowd of fumbling
Mm-hmm.
limbs. The displacer beast, every time it gets like every time somebody tries to hit it, it's just teleporting to different parts of the room. And like it's just difficult to try and keep track of everyone that you care about here. Raquel, it's your turn.
Okay. Ruth has scrambled out.
Yeah. Ruth's
Okay.
not in the pit. He was able to get up onto the separate area where more storage animals and things were.
Okay. Um, do do we know, like, is there a place in this pit that leads to the outside? Like,
Yes. The way that you got down here, like in like from the pit to out, like is that what you're saying?
mhm.
Um, well, all of the exits are kind of like blocked in. This thing is built to keep you in here. But you could scramble up the walls, and climb up either into the back rooms, where Ruth is, or like up into the stands. Um,
I'm not looking for an escape for me. I'm trying. I want to see if I can open a path for the displacer beast to get out.
to escape, like to
Yeah,
get out.
to
Um,
to get it out.
okay, it's not immediately clear where that would be. I think it would be a check to find that.
Okay. In the meantime, kid, will will you take the assistance to get out of here?
Sure.
Okay. Moravec is going to pick kid up from the scruff and attempt to bamf out, like
Okay.
do spirit wolf parkour.
All right. What skill would you like to use to um represent
Um,
this?
well, I don't know if spirits use Rakel's acrobatics or if they use nature. I'd love it if it were nature.
Um, we have in the past used nature to represent your power over law. I feel like um in this game we typically use we say law is the source of like your like at will powers, your encounter powers, and Morbek is technically an at will power of yours. So like that all of that long-winded explanation to say yes, I do believe you can use nature.
Great. I clicked the thing. 27.
27 is going to be a success.
Yeet.
Yeet indeed. All right, y'all are climbing out of here. Trying to remember my optional rules for skill challenges. I believe it was a critical hit that counts for 2, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, yeah. Great. That means it's Ruth's turn.
Ruth is down on HP. He's in these back rooms. Last he saw, Rakel and Kid were gonna get out. Triss looked like she was fine. Self-preservation mode is taking a big forefront right now. So I would like to use a perception skill
Okay, you
to
can do
see
that.
if I can identify very similarly to what Rakel was looking for the displacer beast. Ruth, I think, is like, he is trying to find, he knows that he was brought down in a mechanical chair, so there has to be some sort of back way to get up. He's looking for like again, like an air vent or something, like just somewhere where he can crawl and not be around any sort of danger, and then can take time to heal up if needed.
Yeah, sure.
So let's see it. I'm gonna use my action point that I just got.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I'm
have a
afraid
plus 9 to perception, so 11
Oof.
is very bad.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
A 26.
26 is much better. Yeah. Yes, I believe that you're able to identify the area where you and Kid may have been may have descended from. What it actually looks like is the chair that you came down in is kind of a capsule that has been delivered by sort of like a pneumatic tube. Um, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, like in the bank or
Yeah.
like in a large office building
Yeah.
from the mailroom. Yeah, it's something similar to that.
Oh yeah, no, love me a pneumatic tube. Um, so yeah, I think that Ruth is like, he's trying to find a method of like taking the tube back up, if possible. Hi,
Boca.
hi, Mr. Man.
We've got 2 successes on the board. We're still in round 1. Kid, what would you like to do? Being carried out of here by Morbek.
Well, when I'm away from the displacer beast, I would like to try to make my way and over to Triss. I assume we might want to get everyone together. But if there are things in my way, I wish to bull in the china shop them with athletics.
All right, cool. Works for me.
You see that door there? Nuh-uh. Stats. This button. 19.
A 19 is not enough.
Ooh. It's okay. It's okay. Also, that's a fairly low roll.
Yeah, you guys are. Roll20 has not been kind in the past few days, I have found. I've been playing in 2 different games in Roll20, and being awful stingy with the high rolls, aren't they? All right, assuming you're not going to do anything else there, we can move on to Triss. We are now in the 2nd round. 2nd of 3.
Okie dokie. I gotta get my dark country western music going. I forgot at the beginning of the stream. No wonder I can't focus. All right. Let's see. They're still trying
sorry.
to get out, right?
I'm realizing that I haven't described at all what's going on with Kid. That failure on the athletics check. I think that you mostly just get it's you are now to the point you have breathed in enough miasma. You can start to kind of see these ghosts, and it's kicking in at just the wrong time.
The shrooms, the shrooms.
I shouldn't have taken that. Yeah, like they are like upset. They're like the people are yelling, they're shoving, and like they're all in various states of like uh decay and disarray. Like there's like one headless guy whose head is getting bounced around in the crowd. They're waving gambling stubs and shouting about how it's unfair. Um
It is a good thing only Morabek is here because Kid is terrified.
oh buddy. Uh
Um,
Triss, it's you.
Seeing how this is going, Triss is getting fed up with this situation, and depending on how I roll, I would like to use the spirits around me to do some crowd control with these baddies on the field. So, she's going to well, I'm going to see how I roll, and then I'll describe what happens. So I'm using nature. I'm going to use a fucking point for that. I rolled a 15. That's bullshit. I have plus 13 to nature.
Yeah, that's a 2 on the die.
An 18? What
Oof.
the hell?
Oof.
Okay.
What is like what are you doing? You trying to command the ghosts basically?
I'm trying to manipulate the ghost to like move in and move all of the bad guys away from my friends to make a sluice for them to get out, basically.
It seems that these are not friendly ghosts. They're not very amenable to being commanded.
Not Casper, man.
And like it I feel like this is kind of the first time that you have like been pushed back against
Mm-hmm.
by like such strong there's a frog in my sorry, there's a frog in my patio. I'm gonna have to get rid of it so the cats don't get it. Distractions. Okay. This is the first time that you've come across a number, first of all, a crowd of ghosts this large, like just
Mm-hmm.
ghosts in this number before. Um but it's also the first time you've come across ghosts with as strong a will as this. Um
Yeah.
like they are pushing back in a big way, like, and it's very Karen. It's like, oh, how dare you, like, I
Yeah.
do not take commands from one such as you, and like
Mm-hmm.
they're just kind of like shoving and jostling you around. And as they do so, you can kind of see like that blue glow of that currency that like they take out of their mouths. There's like that glow is like emanating from their throats, and is seems to be like an indicator, an exertion of their will.
Okay.
Raquel.
I am still down here with the displacer beast.
Indeed.
Um, can I use a minor thing? A minor power? Minor action?
Which power?
Speak with spirits. While
Oh
while
yeah.
I'm down here, I
That's one of those ones that like makes your
yeah,
skill checks better, right? Yeah, you can always use those during a skill challenge.
yeah. Because I do want to now that my party is safe, I would like to try and find an escape route for the displacer beast, and specifically, I want to tap into that sort of the emotional anxiety of a caged animal.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of like sour, salty, just tinge
Mm-hmm.
in the air of anxiety and panic and looking for an escape.
It's very
Uh,
strong here.
and follow that instinct to try and perceive a way out.
All right, go for it. Holy shit.
37.
Yeah, I think with a 37, how close is that to, yeah, that's an 18 on the die. That was like how much higher can you get? Yeah, that's pretty damn good. You're tapping into that feeling. Um, and I want to say that this because of your speak with spirits power, um I feel like you see out of the corner of your eye like the form of a mouse like skittering out of view, and then you see another and another until it's just like a ton of them just kind of like in various parts of the room. uh they skitter away, and each one of them is skittering into like a mouse hole or like underneath the seats. Like each one of them is a different path to safety, and it's a matter of picking out which one is going to be correct for a displacer beast. And what you see is that this one path, you are drawn to it inexplicably. This one path goes up into the seats, and up to one large golden seat, that appears to be a place for someone with power and prominence to sit.
Okay. Um, yeah, I would. I will start heading that way, and if I can, I would like to try and get the displacer beats attention
Works for
doing
me.
that.
All right, Ruth, it's your turn.
Okay, all right. So there's a pneumatic tube, and the tube, from what I am able to see, it's just like the casing of the tube.
Yes.
Okay. And my guess is that it looks like it just goes up into like a flat ceiling. It's not just like
Mm-hmm.
tube all of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to get himself out of there, and it's like the opening for the tube would be down on the floor with where the displacer beast is. If
It
he
would
were to
be
like,
it would go down into like the general area that you're in.
yeah.
It goes down. Let me pull up the map and I can give you a better give you a visual aid on this. Um, it goes down basically into the deployment room, that you were sort of shoved out of at the beginning of the fight.
Okay.
So if you're looking at, I gotta move you there. Sorry. If you're looking at the debate room, there's a spot with like a cog looking thing.
Yes.
Um, Imagine the pneumatic tube goes straight down through the middle of that cog.
Okay. Um. So I think what Ruth is going to do now, because the goal is to try and leave this place. He's going to.
I mean, if your the goal is, yes, to leave this place,
Yeah.
but it's to leave this place alive.
Yes.
So your skill check does not necessarily have to go directly towards, escape. It
Okay.
can go towards not dying.
That's true.
If like by we have one more round of this, and if by the end of this round you guys have enough successes, you will escape. That will be the narrative outcome.
Okay.
Um,
So I think Ruth, knowing that he is like he's tucked in the back a little bit, finding this giant pneumatic tube. It seems like everyone, like the din and sound of terrors are happening from down the way. I'm gonna use a heal check on myself, to calm things down. Maybe use a healing surge, even if it's only for. I don't think healing surges can be used in the middle of combat without using an action point, and I already used my action point.
well, you don't need to use an action point to use a healing surge.
Okay.
You just need to use an action.
Okay, I would like to
Um,
use my action to heal, but I can
all right.
use I can roll for heal if that helps because I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Okay.
works for me. You can go ahead and spend that healing surge.
Okay.
You know, reduce the amount of healing that you get by half. But it will not contribute to success in the skill challenge.
Okay.
Just on account of how low it rolled.
Excellent. I'm at 9 health instead of 4.
Ruth quickly patching himself up, as he can hear screaming and scuffling and fucking. Did I name the displacer beast Pussycat, or did somebody else do that?
That wasn't any of us.
Oh my god, I went into a fugue state last week.
Or
That's
did
very.
Tyler access it and then name it Pussycat?
Change it and leave.
Oh my god, that's very funny. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I
But like
think
you hear that like the scream of the displacer beast outside, and then like once again another like bowling pin like strike as like fucking the thorns of Thurisaz fall apart. There are fewer and fewer of him every time the displacer beast knocks him down.
oh yeah, I am looking for any method of escape at this point. Like if there's like a door that says exit, or like he assumes people have come in to watch this because he saw all the ghosts, so there has to be
I
a means of egress.
I feel like, you know, like Ruth is a pretty scrappy guy.
Yeah.
He's a wiry old man, you know, like he can hold his own in a fight. I think for the first time he feels the like for the first time in a while, he feels like the rigors of old age, like slowing him down. Like he desperately just kind of wants to like sit and rest. His body is like, I know Ruth wants to get out of here, but his legs like will not allow him to run. Like basically his body is turning against him and like demanding, "No, actually you need rest now."
He needs to drink some water.
Poor guy.
He doesn't have any.
Uh that miasma is nasty stuff. Kid, it is now your
Hello.
turn.
I'd like to try to intimidate to clear a path from the
Oh.
ghosts.
Oh. Now that you can see them,
Now that
now
I
that
can
you can
see them.
now that you can hear what fucking assholes they are,
I
go
thought I
for
couldn't
it.
hear them. Like, the big joke was we could see them, but we couldn't hear them. And
You
only,
can you can
I
see and
can.
hear them. Yeah, the miasma is slowly like a lot giving you the various senses that you need to interact with these ghosts.
Does a 20 do it?
um yes, a 20 does
Okay.
it.
Uh, Kid has stumbled onto the ground at some point. Triss loses him in the seating. All Triss hears is a clap of thunder, and the sparks from where Kid went down as he looks up at the ghosts, and he just growls, "Fucking move out of my way."
It is not a supernatural movement, as Triss was trying to like, you know, part the sea and command these spirits. It is like Kid is now speaking to them on their level. And like they stumble away from him the way that like a normal ass person would, like a living mortal person would. They fear him the way the living would.
Kid will
Triss, we
get
are
up
at the
and
top
start
of
running again.
yeah, we're at the top of the third round. Um, and you guys need one more success to reach a partial victory.
Are there any curtains?
Yeah.
Okay. Triss is going to go and rip off a curtain. She's going to sort of very nimbly, kind of, there's those spikes that are coming out. She's going to like maneuver herself on top of those, and tie off the curtain so that it's hanging down for them to get out. And I would like to do this with acrobatics.
Works for me.
Oh, they're already out of the pit?
Kid is. Hidden
Oh,
Morback
okay.
are. Rakel, I believe, is still in the pit.
Okay. I do not do it. Roll 20. The hell?
What the hell, roll 20?
Not
Anything
rolled
else that
above
you
a
can do on your
6.
turn?
Not unless they want to climb thorns.
Okay.
Raquel probably could.
Triss pulls. How silly do we want to get with this? Triss pulls down the curtain, and it like pulls down more and more curtains, and these curtains kind of like fall down on top of the ghosts, and the curtains that you pulled down are ripped out of your hands as the ghosts are trying to like get untangled from them. Rakel, it's all you.
All right, so I have the golden chair that can hopefully get
Yes.
a displacer beast out.
Yes.
Um,
Somehow the spirits have told you this is the key to getting the displacer beast out.
okay. How realistically, how
Mhm.
would I be able to get the use this to get the displacer beast out?
Um, you have a feeling that if you can just get the displacer beast to the chair, that would be enough.
Okay.
You can't explain why or how it will happen. You just know that you need to get it there.
I would like to try and use nature to, yep, to get the displacer beast here.
Sounds like what to do.
24.
That's a success. We are now in partial victory. Um, we will continue because there's a chance for you guys to get a full victory. Rakel, I'm gonna say that you wind up probably stepping on a thorn or two, like just like vaulting off of someone's face. You manage to scramble up to where the golden chair is, and standing near it, you attract the attract the displacer beast to your location. How do you do that?
Yeah, I just like whistle for it to just that, sharp noise to get its attention. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at it with the same like pleading expression, like let me help you get out of here.
It
That I did earlier whenever I broke down the cage.
It turns, it looks at you with those predatory eyes, its tentacles lashing, and with a mighty leap, it looks for a moment like it's not going to make it, but at the last second, it displaces in the air and lands, like like it completely displaces past you and lands on the chair itself. And when it does so, the chair kind of like leans back and there's like a mechanical ka-chunk. And then the chair like flies up into the ceiling.
Where am I?
Um,
Oh, am I just like in the top part of the thing?
yeah, I'll grab you and I'll put you this here-ish is where you're at.
Oh,
All the way over here. Hold on. What's the is it this? Is it this? There we go. Zoop.
sweet.
Yes, Ruth. My friend, my friend. It's your turn.
Okay. So that was what a nature check that got us into this situation. But the displacer beast is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's very good.
Now it's just a matter of getting out of here.
I think Ruth is going to try. He doesn't want to draw any attention to himself, so I would like to use a stealth roll to approach at least the area near where Rakel is, and then sort of wave like, "Come on, like, this way, let's go.
Yeah, works for me.
Whether or not that is the correct way to go, but he wants to do it stealthily.
Ruth.
Get that boy some milk. He can't roll above a 5.
I think that Ruth thinks to himself, okay, like no acts of daring do for me right now. But I can quietly and slowly make my way up there. And he does so, and it's very conspicuous, like old man, like
Mumbling to himself, talking about pigeon cameras or something. Like,
oh, Ruth. All right, kid, you're our only hope.
Don't put this on me, Ricky Bobby. Well,
How do you get everybody out of here?
could I just arcana up like a meet here symbol above us?
Sure.
We're scattered right now.
Yeah, no, that works for me. I feel like that is the biggest problem you guys are facing thus far. Trying
In
to
the chaos, we've lost each other.
trying to reunite everybody would be a good move here.
19.
Okay, that is not enough to be a success.
God, can't
Um,
roll over a 10.
Well, the good news is you guys have a partial victory, which means that you escape with your lives. The bad news is it's pretty rough on you physically as everyone loses a healing surge.
Oofowie.
However, you can also have an action point. I say that everyone manages to find their own way out of the debate room, but you are scattered, and it will take you some time to reunite. I want everybody to roll a d20. Just a flat d20. Apropos of nothing, this is just going to help me decide how the group is split up. All right. That makes it easy. Okay. Who do we begin with? I'll just keep going in the initiative, technically. Triss, I want to say that like you this entire skill challenge has been rough on you. And it is in no small part due to the sudden trouble you seem to be having with trying to command these ghosts. And like there's like a rush on the exit. And you are basically carried with the crowd out the door. And like they run up the stairs, and you find yourself spilling out into the casino. And then like I imagine that there's like bouncers and shit that like you've been identified as a problem character, and so you are eventually dragged out and thrown out into the street.
I don't like that. Triss's politeness is holding on by a fucking thread.
Rakel, I'm gonna say that you just get like this is the easiest like narrative way for you to have gotten out. You happened to be on the platform with like the golden chair as it shoots up into the ceiling. I think that you just get I think that you just get ejected with the displacer beast. Um and
We're gonna
so
life is
like
pie it up.
yeah.
Life of pie it up.
Oh gosh, it might as well be for Rakel actually. Um a a fancy looking office is the equivalent of like a rowboat out in the middle of the sea to Rakel, I think. Um which is where you find yourself. And like this displacer beast like isn't super happy with the fact that it was basically like rapidly ejected into the ceiling. Like this is like an unnatural way for it to have been egressed. So like the first thing it does is like basically run around the room a couple of times. You ever see a cat get spooked? Like it like runs around the room a couple of times, like just tears everything up. Bookcases fall over, papers fly everywhere, like furniture slashed to ribbons. And then it just like crashes through a window. And like you can hear it like running off. But
Cool.
yeah, you find yourself now in a ransacked office.
I'm gonna follow the displacer beast out the window.
Okay. That's not hard. And you're totally able to summon Morbek to your side if you wish.
Yes.
Otherwise, okay. All right. So Rakel like finds herself standing in this ransacked room and can hear the sound of like displacer beast chaos outside. And then she just bolts for the window and summons Morbek as she too jumps through.
Yeah, and just like as we land outside, back in Leafy Springs, just watch the displacer beast run off in the distance.
Oh, like it's like causing all kinds of chaos down the street. Like the nightlife here is pretty wild. It's pretty active. So like there's all kinds of ghosts like reacting like, oh shit, that doesn't seem normal. Triss, I want to say that you're actually very nearby. You see this displacer beast. You hear crashing of glass from above. The displacer beast lands near you, and then displaces past you and starts running down the street. And then fairly soon after that, Morbek lands down next to you.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm good.
All right, where's everybody else?
I don't know.
Well, at least we're back where we started. Yeah, I guess go look for friends.
Okay. I'm gonna cut back to Kid real quick. Kid, the way that you made your way out of the debate room is I'm gonna say that like you summoned an arcane sign trying to like draw everyone to you. And then like you saw across the room, Ruth is like Ruth is like you can tell he's not doing good. Like he got fairly injured during the fight. And he's like he falls, gets up, tries to run, and then he falls again and does not get up.
Kid hustles on over there. Hey, Ruth, you alright, buddy? Trying to just turn Ruth over onto their back, making sure their mouth is open so that they're not swallowing their tongue.
He has not lost consciousness, but it's like his legs just won't move anymore.
I believe I have a health potion I can feed Ruth.
I was gonna try and find a vent and crawl my way out. I just need five minutes.
Yeah, you can.
And you see Ruth point, and there's a pneumatic tube that the two of you could make your way out through.
Them big old tubes. I don't know if they'll put us back in the machine shop though. It seems like a bad time.
Well, what other choice do we got? Kid will turn his coat into, well, he's gonna backpack Ruth and use his coat like support, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll begin to climb up the tube.
Have me face the other way. That way I can still use my arms.
Your arms are wet paper right now, old man. You just rest.
Yeah, it's wet paper. I never.
I could undo the buckle.
You
Like it loosens a little.
For context, for climbing up a straight tube, I do have 19 strength. Like, Ruth is actually, like, very capable of monkey gripping his way up there.
The two of you could do like the thing that they do in like Emperor's New
Cusco and-
Groove.
Cusco and
Yeah.
Pacha, yeah.
Yeah, they like, and then like legs on the side, you brace against each other and
Chokes
climb
on you. I've got 20 strength. Wet paper arms, old man.
All right. Yeah, you climb up the pneumatic tube. I'm gonna say like this is probably where you lose your healing surge. Like this is rough. Like it is like there are very few handholds, and it is straight up for like a good. I am loath to put like actual numbers on it so that people can be all like, oh,
Several
actually,
minutes of
that would-"
climbing later.
Yeah, several minutes of climbing. That's what I'm gonna say. That sounds tough, doesn't it? Yeah, several minutes of climbing later, and you find yourselves like pushing open a grate, and you are deposited in a dark room full of junk. Basically, you can see cogs and gears kind of scattered around, as well as bones. Bones.
Human or animal? Or both?
Both. Yeah, definitely both.
So yes.
Yes.
He's just like the deep, dry breaths. Okay. All right.
I do have a healing potion, so I'll feed you that.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. Potions are a young man's game. Use a healing surge instead.
Drink the damn potion.
Not while the air thing is going on. It'd be worthless.
Technically speaking, it's better for you from a mechanical standpoint. Just drink the damn potion, or else I will force feed it to you. You are no good to me in this state.
Kid saying this, you knock over one of these cogs and it clangs to the ground, and like you hear it echo, and it occurs to you that you're in a workshop and you're not sure what else could be in here with you.
Just drink the damn thing. Shoving potion in hand.
He'll pocket it and roll a stealth check to get the hell out of here.
All right, works for me. Kid, would you also roll me a stealth check?
I'm gonna shoot my way out of here. I don't have stealth, but here we go.
25.
Hello? You going?
It might take a second.
Wow.
There we go. 17.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. You are like pretty much immediately Ruth goes into like stealth mode, and you shadow him. And Ruth leads you behind what appears to be like a blackboard. And as you are passing by, gosh, you don't have great perception, and Ruth definitely doesn't have dark vision. Do you have dark vision, kid?
Genasi, so probably not.
I don't think so. Okay,
Yeah, no.
so as you're passing by, you catch a glimpse of what is written on this blackboard. The thing is, it's like you're going behind it, so it's upside down. And like, do you slow down to see what's on the blackboard, or are you getting out of here as quickly as possible and you only catch a glimpse?
Give me a second. Huh. Yeah, okay. The Caleb in me says I want to slow down, but the kid in me says we're getting the fuck out of here.
Okay. Well then we'll leave it up to chance. Give me a perception check. nearsighted Nelly?
Nope.
Okay.
If it was pertinent to our situation, the GM wouldn't have made it failable.
It's true. Ruth, what's your passive? Passive perception.
My passive perception, I believe, is 19.
19. Okay. You each catch a glimpse of what's written on this blackboard, and there's kind of an instinct in the back of your mind that, like, maybe there's something important there. But then you hear a door open somewhere deeper in the complex, and it, like, becomes a lot more important to you to get out of there. And behind this blackboard, I'm going to say that there's a window that you can slide open and then climb out of.
And we do.
Gone.
We're gonna navigate over to Jacob's.
Okay, that works for me. Where would Triss and Rakel be going? You would specifically be. You said that you were looking for Kid and Ruth, right? Or did I imagine?
No.
that?
I think we were trying to. I assumed that they had gotten out, so I think we were looking around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like,
Each of you.
surely we didn't go in there looking for them and get into all that trouble and then
Yeah.
come
Lose
out
them
just to leave
again.
them there.
Just lose them immediately. Yeah. Give me a perception or a nature check.
Here,
Each one of
two
you.
bodies hitting like trash bins in an alley.
23.
18.
Yeah, those are both good. Triss, would you consider yourself something of a tracker, or are you using law to track them down?
Law.
Okay.
She's not much of a, like, she loves the forest and loves nature, but she doesn't, like, she just walks in it. She does not a hunter.
How does Triss feel about the ghosts around her right now?
The same way she always feels about the ghosts around her, like, respectful yet blasé.
Okay. Triss, as you, like, normally the way that you exert law, the way that you cast law, the way you use it is through ghosts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of distracted at the moment. You're acting on instinct. And you do as you normally do, where you politely ask a ghost to, like, excuse me, could you do this for me? Could you help me find my friends?
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that the ghost that you approach, it turns and it looks at you, and I don't think you would necessarily react to this, but Rakel sees that this ghost is entirely faceless.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I'll say, give him kind of like a newsy might be too, like, time wise. That's probably too late.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I'd say, like, sort of young looking, like, kid in suspenders and, like,
Mm-hmm.
one of them their newsy caps, and
Yeah.
barefoot, and they turn around to look at you, no face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's no question as to whether or not they're gonna do what you say. They do it immediately. They look around, and then point in a direction and then start leading you there.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Um,
Triss will usher uh Rakel with her calmly, as but I don't know if Raquel's not really good at reading people, right? Okay,
Not at all.
never mind.
It is even harder if they have no face.
Fair. Also, I'm a tree.
she's a tree.
I'm a tree. What can I say?
What does that have to do with anything?
We're different than people faces.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yes, this kid leads you down an alleyway. And it occurs to you it's like the back area of Daisy Chains, which was the barber shop where you lost track of them. And you see an open window with the curtains kind of fluttering out into the moonlight. And there are footprints on the ground that are leading to the direction of the boarding house.
Okay. I was like, I swear to Christ, if we had chased them down for them to just come back to the exact same spot that we chased them from.
Immediately
Anyways,
get caught again.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's going back in the debate room?
This scene resets.
Ugh.
What is this? What is this building made out of?
A brick. This is an industrial area.
Mm-hmm.
This building looks as though it were originally like a forge or something of the like.
Mm-hmm. Noted. I will grab a bottle.
Brick, stone, iron rebar.
Yeah.
Sturdy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so burning it down right now is not a good plan. Anyways, go back to the boarding house.
Okay. Ruth and Kid, you get back to the boarding house first. And
Is there a back way we can go in?
yeah, absolutely.
We'll take that way instead of going in through the front.
Mm-hmm.
Bandages, salves.
Yep, you go in through the back way, and you can set up in the room that Ruth claimed for you guys, and start patching him up when you hear the door open and shut, and probably like puts you on alert, but then you see Rakel and Triss poke their heads in.
Yeah, ladies.
Cool. Y'all did make it out. Great.
Yeah.
Last I checked.
How are you feeling, Mr. Ruth?
I don't say this often, but like I could use a bath.
Well,
So did you get your hair cut?
In a sense.
You did. She gave you a nice haircut.
Oh, good. I was actually a little curious about that myself. He'll take off his hat, and his little tiny tuft has been, like, trimmed and shaped a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Some
coiffed.
pomade was
Yeah.
used.
Yeah. Likewise, Kid also has a nice haircut.
Does good work, but, you know, a little weird. We did not
it's like
ask.
you got a pruning.
So we sat in these large metal chairs, and then the chairs clamped onto our extremities, and then they got sent down a harmonic tube, or whatever it is that those things are called. And then it was dark, and I woke up, and suddenly it was facing a giant man.
More or less the same experience for me.
Yeah, he was on the other side. Now, that being said, I don't know rightfully if we were supposed to survive, but that being said, I don't know how the two of you found us, but I'm greatly appreciative. I had plans as to how to do a little bit of crowd control that did not work out according to plans at all, almost as if some god of luck was spiting me at the very moment that I tried to execute it. But I'm thankful to be alive, and I owe it to the three of you, so thank you.
Of course. Now, this town has some major things wrong with it, one of which the cycle of life is halted. I can't oblige by that, and I know Miss Rakel has the same feelings. Perhaps we should speak to the management and burn the whole thing down.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I think speaking to the management is sort of what got us into this mess, so we're past that point, and I am all for burning. Just
I'm sorry.
Clean slate.
When I said speak to the management, I meant with our bullets.
Oh, right, yeah, them things. You know what, I'm plenty good at conversation. He'll hold up his axe and his short sword. But I would be lying if I said your boy didn't need a nap.
I too could use a bit of shut-eye.
Just like an hour. Just to give him
Ruth, roll a
bearings.
healing surge.
Oh, I'll use one.
He'd get 2 hit points.
How many healing surges you have now, Ruth?
I have 3 left.
Okay. That is probably the most amount of healing surges that you would have had to use in a single day.
Oh yeah. Been a while since I
And
got
you
this low.
still got 3 to go.
What happened to the that big pissed off cat? Big mountain lion looking thing. What happened to that?
Oh, she's gone.
Oh.
I got her out.
Ha. Well, that just means that whoever's in charge here, Baron von Farron, whatever his name is, I'm going to be dealing with that for a while. So that, if anything, might give us the time needed to take a little bit of a snooze.
Do as you like.
I will. And first thing that he does is stand up, and he's going to leave the room, and he's going to look for like a horse trough or a rain barrel or somewhere that is a source of water.
That like classic Western thing where you just like stumble outside and then like tip over into a horse trough.
So he's not looking necessarily to take a bath, but he is like dunking his head in and washing his face. He's trying to do that thing where like if you get some like bad powder in your nose, I don't know if this is a me thing or if other people do this. I will actively try to like breathe in a little bit of water into my nose to clear out the sinus.
God. I understand the I understand the reasoning there, and I have been that desperate before, but God, I hate the feeling of water up my nose. It's just the worst.
I do that. Also, neti pots exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, neti pot. Yeah.
No
I
neti
get it.
pot. We're doing it raw. We're just shoving our face in water and trying to snort it. Like, it's a bad...
You mean drown yourself?
No,
hey,
you don't let it go
whoa.
all the way up.
Yeah, you just like a tasteful amount, like a little,
just
like
put
you
it in
wet your whistle
sinuses.
with it. Yeah.
Not your like respiratory system.
Yeah.
You stop before it
Please
becomes
don't try
dangerous.
this.
Don't try this at home.
Please don't.
I am not going to be held responsible if any one of you listeners does this. I swear to God. You can't. We told you not to. For their lawyers, we told them not to. Right here.
Even neti pot like has like this huge legalese like going like, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing this.
You might get a brain worm.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Ruth goes outside, dunks his head, and I want to say that he just like stays underwater for like a little bit too long. Like it's a little bit worrying. And it's all like, oh, this is peaceful. And then like, you know, you have that moment of like, oh God, I need to breathe. And then you come back up.
Oh, yeah. No, he is, because in his mind, the miasma is like a pollen or something that he has like brought into his sinuses. He doesn't want to see dead people right now. He's just looking for like a refresher, a little spritz to clear that out. And my guess as a player is that that's not how that works at all. He's consumed too much into his airways, and it's magical in nature and all of that.
It's already in there,
Yeah, but Ruth is an old man, so he is trying desperately to get rid of that, and after a certain point realizes it's futile.
Because, like, you know, he pulls up out of the water and then, like, has to, like, gasp for breath. And, like, afterwards, he feels lower. He feels like he's just gotten more of it into him.
Yeah.
Like, it has been an ultimately futile act.
Yep. And then once he realizes that, then it is the he's doing the thing that pro athletes do. Again, if this is a rain barrel, he's lowering his bottom half into it and just letting his little leggies soak in cold water.
Oh, okay.
Someone is out there with him, right?
No one offered, so he's
Tris
just been
will
like
go out there with them.
Tris
He's just standing by, watching things go by as this is happening.
I feel like he gets out there, does the head dunk, does not recognize that anyone has come with him, pulls his head out, puts it back in. Second time, he just sees Tris standing there, and it's like, oh! Like he's
Fuck.
just taking it
I
back
feel like
that somebody came.
I feel like everyone's a little bit jumpy now, knowing that the town is kind of against you.
Ghosts. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to prepare my snare.
Okay. What does it look like this time?
I mean, since we're in an actual building, I'm looking for something that will be using the space. So I think she sort of reaches out, and what comes to her is this a cross between an Atticus spider and a praying mantis. Just that sort of like thing in the corner of the room that is still, you know, hunting in a place that is civilized, just thriving off of the forgotten corners of this area. And I press it like this. Okay. Okay, I don't know what I have to roll.
And
It's
Wings,
a
we can't.
nature skill.
We were not able to hear you before.
Who,
For
me?
Wings. Yeah.
Oh. See, I was thinking that Zoom was like throttling me here and there. Might have to go into my settings and have a look at that. The check result is the perception DC.
When you complete the
okay,
ritual,
yeah, make a nature check. Yeah, make a nature check, and then the check's the perception DC to detect the snare, and the thievery DC to disable it.
Cool. 28. She calls forth this thing, and as soon as she turns her head, it scares away. Atticus spiders run so fucking fast. Woo!
Gotta love a fast spider. All right, any conversations that happened tonight, as I'm assuming that y'all are hunkering down for a long rest?
Is there a room overlooking the main street on the top floor that Kid can take over?
Sure, yeah. So you can go and watch.
Yeah. He's dragged a table in front of the window, set up his rifle on like a bipod he's made out of gold, and he's currently just laying belly down on the table, looking out into the main street from this firing position.
Okay.
Tris is Wherever there, Triss is all about pairs right now. So if anybody isn't alone, if Kid is alone, she'll be there with him.
Works for me.
Normally, Kid does small talk with people, but he is very silent in the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, Triss doesn't talk unless people talk to her, so she's, yeah, just sitting there, stewing, as it were.
Look over his shoulder, look out the window, look over his shoulder again. Penny for your thoughts, reaching for a cigarette, putting it in his mouth and lighting it.
Well, I just feel perhaps that I'm a bit back where I was before. I'm back in remembering how awful people are and how even the thing that I thought was sacred, like death, could be manipulated into something blasphemous.
Well, if it's one thing we are good at, it is to take something wholly innocent and corrupt it fully. Kid reaches over and just puts out a candle next to him to darken the room.
Hmm. Yes, I'm remembering.
That ain't
Though
for.
there are
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
though there are small pockets of light in the dark, it is still mostly dark.
Well, I was taught young that the world was a dark place where you really only had a handful of people you could trust and rely on. Sometimes, though, that don't be the case. They'll betray you in the end, too. But that's just a gamble.
Do you plan on betraying me?
Not for the foreseeable future.
Understood.
I'd also like to clarify that was me bantering and not a proclamation of down the line I will backstab you.
Well, I've collected enough gold in my life to get influence, giving it to my people, and if that's how I go out, then it is what it is.
Tell me more about your people before you met us. He will turn in his place, and his pack is behind his back, and he'll kind of settle in a little bit. Y'all know all about me, but I don't know anything about y'all.
Oh, that's fair. The grove I grew up in is a wonderful and lush place. All of my people they work together to make society better. There's a it's a lot of camaraderie there. Um, just everyone's different and nobody really cares. There's little ones run around, saplings, and they're cared for, and everyone looks out for everybody. We look out for the trees and nature around us, and not. I'm actually quite unique in my situation as well. Not many people can see the dead, but nobody ever judged me. Nobody ever, you know, made me feel unwanted or weird. It's a wonderful place to be.
Sounds like it. Actually, it sounds like a mighty fine slice of heaven out here in the Ramble.
It is. And I hate that I can't be there now.
Why did you leave? Go traveling with your circus folk?
Because
If
I
it's
had to.
oh,
My people need the others. Everyone else is encroaching on our land, and the only way to get influence over them is with money. So I've been out in the world finding influence, finding gold, and sending it back to them so they can keep our little spot. I don't want to be out here. I'd rather be there, but people find I'm easy to persuade others.
So when all this is over, you're heading back?
That's the plan.
Good as plan as any.
What are you gonna do?
I don't rightly know. Maybe I'll ride off into the sunset and become an actual lawman and uphold the peace somewhere. Maybe serendipity.
Hmm.
Maybe
I think
I'll...
you'd be a good family man.
There's a lot of things I gotta figure out about myself first before I could even think about a family. But thank you nonetheless.
Well, you'd be more than welcome in my home.
Maybe I'll take a vacation. Away from all the dry, maybe find somewhere lush. Might take you up on that offer.
You can find us up at the Arlo Woods.
How far away is that if I make a history check? If I know about that.
Or, yeah. Give me a roll.
Right now? 14.
14. That's not too difficult. LB, you tell me, is the grove that, Triss is from, is this in the, sort of western stretch of, trees, closer to the mountains? Or is it in the eastern stretch?
If we're going off of American, most people are in the east. I think it is towards the west, where there are less people, but they are kind of starting to encroach.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, it's the ramble is big. So I would say it's far, but in the scheme of things, it's not that far. It's uh I I hate putting real world
It's still a ways out for someone to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Especially in a place like this where there's no planes and all of the trains are
Are borked.
yes.
Excuse me.
I'd say she's let's say she's from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The
Trisannas, my
equivalent of
wood girlfriend
Canada
from
here.
Canada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally real.
Yeah.
It's another
Totally
story.
real place. For
Yeah.
real, for sure.
We
for
met
sure,
over
for
the
sure.
summer. You just haven't met her yet.
Yeah.
She's at the foot of the northern Palisade Mountains.
Okay. Yeah. A kid reaches into his pack, pulls out a half-drunk bottle of whiskey, pours out a cup for himself, looks over to Triss, and asks if she wants to partake. Can't hear you.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Hi.
Hello.
Hello? No, thank you. I don't partake in alcohol very often, and I think we should be sharp tonight, just in case they try to come after us for some reason or another.
Fair enough. Kid takes a small swig and then pours the rest over his rifle.
Why'd you do that?
You have your rituals and I have mine. It's just a way for me to remember my folks. Give them thanks.
That's wonderful. We plant for ours. When we die, our bodies go into the ground and create wonderful little trees that we tend to and look after.
Little bit of you gets left behind forever. Well, I'm gonna turns back on his belly to pick up his rifle, get back on watch. If you mind doing me a small favor, in about an hour or two, I could use some coffee.
Of course. Might be a little strong, but I'll try to contain myself.
Oh, the stronger the better. We gotta be up all night.
Of course.
In that case, would you two give me perception checks for your watch?
Fuck.
Oh, on that one I make a good roll? Cool, thanks.
Hey, you don't know. This might be important. This is kind of important. 11.
24.
Oh no,
What's the
stealth
GM
roll.
typing?
It's a stealth roll.
Okay.
Ah! Pathfinder
Well,
numbers are silly.
I feel like... Yeah, let's do it. Rakel, what are you up to tonight?
Sleeping.
Anything
I've
else?
set my snare. I am very tired. I'm going to go to sleep.
I'm sure. We have a scene that you would like to do.
Okay.
Are you down for that?
Yeah.
Want to do that after we come back from break? Or
We
do
could go on
better
break.
beforehand? All right. So we are going to be going on a brief break. We're going to be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see all you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. Hello, everybody. I'm trying to pause pretzel. It's not working. I'm just close out. There. It's done. The music's still playing. I want it to stop.
It must be heard.
I'm going to pause. I'm going to mute the desktop audio until that stops. Why is it still going? I know they can't hear you. They can still see the CC. Where is the audio coming from now? No! I closed the tab. I did actually bring up the task manager to threaten it, and as soon as I did, it stopped. It was like, okay, I was just kidding.
Pull up the task manager and just like put a pillow over its face.
Yeah. A brief aside before we get back into the game, I had a work machine I had to restart very frequently, so I named the computer Ophelia. Or no, Desdemona was the name
There
that
you
I that I
was
named
like-
it.
Weird.
Yeah. No, named it
I mean-
Desdemona because I had to smother it consistently.
Well, Ophelia's the one who, like, drowned
She
in the river
drowned.
surrounded by flowers.
She
Yes,
throws
but-
herself in the water, okay? She doesn't just drown.
Excuse
She's
you.
mad.
She drowns off screen because she got gaslit too fucking much.
It's so true.
Are we
Bastard.
talking about Desdemona or Javert?
Oh,
Because, like,
No, as
I can see
Ophelia.
some similarities.
Sorry, I saw the scene from the movie where it's just like that, like cracking
Bum,
sound.
bum, 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 bum,
Oh god.
Anyway,
Oh,
what are we
stop.
doing?
Anyway, Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition Gold Rush Wings.
Hi,
Where
we're back.
were we?
We definitely didn't get distracted at all. Rakel!
Yeah, Raquel's going to sleep. She's laying down in the room, like, the entire trip here she's been seeing this a person just stalking them. And in this past thing, like she really tapped into um, the emotions of like a caged animal, uh, like something being trapped, hunted, and I don't think those feelings have fully gone away yet. Um, so she's restless for a while. Um, she she just sort of laying there and sort of absentmindedly just those who have walked this trail before. I I I need help. I need your wisdom. I don't I don't know what to do. I don't like this.
All right. This is a meditation that you've done before, right? Like, normally there is a feeling uh of community, camaraderie, of your people, your ancestors, coming close to you and giving you a feeling of love, support, maybe even a little smugness. And this feeling does come to you, but it is brief as it quickly fades to make way for something else. There's nothing but silence and the sound of your heart beating. There's the sound of rustling leaves, and that heart begins to beat faster. And you can smell earth, bark, rot, and that heart beats even louder. It's too loud. You realize that there is a second heart beating in time with yours. There's suddenly the loud snap of a twig behind you, almost as if it's intentional. Something wants you to know that it's here. You can smell damp fur and blood. And then you turn to see, towering above you, 7 feet tall, the hunched form of a red wolf, stretched and twisted to stand on 2 feet. Crowned on its head are a pair of gnarled, branching antlers, stained crimson and draped with freshly shed velvet. It's humanoid, clothed in a leather breechcloth. Its eyes burn into you, and you feel the damp heat of its breath. You wait for fear to come, the feeling that the hunt has come to its end, the dread of being at the mercy of an apex beast, the very thing that you were avoiding to begin with. But that feeling never comes. This creature's spirit is one of violence, passion, ferocity, everything that you would expect from a predator. But it's more complex than that. There's a protectiveness, guardianship. And suddenly this pain racks through you, loss, grief, guilt. You called for help, and your call has been answered. The creature is silent for a moment, and slowly lowers its eyes, its head, its entire mass. Crouching down, almost returning to all fours, it reaches out its claws to grab a sharpened stone blade from the earth. It touches the point to its clavicle, a small trickle of blood beginning to well, and it draws in a deep breath. The roar of agony and defiance that erupts from it is what shocks Rakel awake. It's morning, light streaming in through the windows. You look around, and nearby you find something new. you reach out and your fingers entangle a familiar hide folded and lay down next to you. What magic item is this?
Uh, the armor. The hide is bestial armor. Uh, did her weapon change as well?
Yes.
Okay.
You can describe how that changed if you like.
Yeah. That that same stone, that sharpened stone, has now affixed itself to the tip of the spear, replacing the previous point. Now anchored to it with a strip of taut velvet. This is the totemic spear.
These are some magic items that Rakel has, like, in-game had access to for a while now. We just haven't had the opportunity to have the scene introducing them narratively. But morning has come. Did did like Ruth sleep in this room as well last night, or?
I think that in the spirit of pairing off to make sure that people aren't necessarily alone, Ruth would have if Rakel, if it pleased the court, would have slept in the same room as Rakel.
Do you think that it would be appropriate for Ruth to be sleeping in right now?
Oh yeah, Ruth I don't think got very good sleep last night, and it definitely took him a while to get there. Not even that he wasn't tired, but like he just couldn't get comfortable. His mind was racing. It was just couldn't really find that cozy spot. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's still sleeping. Normally, old man is first to be awake, but he is definitely visiting snooze junction right now.
I want to say that Raquel is like busy examining her new belongings. And then she like looks up, she catches sight of Ruth, who's like, just doing like the old man, like, like
He
laying on
looks
his
like a dead
back.
Victorian child for
Yes,
sure. Yeah.
mouth hanging open. And for a second, it doesn't look like he's breathing. And then like you get like that rattling, like sleep apnea snore.
Yeah. Raquel just she looks across like the bed, um, where uh, she never dismissed Moravec, so Moravec's probably still sleeping in the room.
hmm
And she just takes a like long like look at him, definitely thinking of the thing that came to her in her dream. But he's just curled up, zooted. So she reaches for that hide. Gives it a touch. Sort of brings it up to her. Like wraps her shoulders in it. And there's that scent. Um there's dirt, like there's earth. There's a a dampness, a must. But the distinct scent of home. and she just sort of lets herself sink into it and just be there for a second.
Okay.
That's it.
Kid and Triss, did you guys ever get any rest tonight? You could have like switched off taking watches and made sure that each of you got a long rest in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think Triss probably got a little sleep first, let you get some sleep, and like I feel like Triss is asleep at the start of the day.
I feel like that conversation we had was in the middle of our
Mm-hmm.
watches. Like we had like an hour block where it was just the two of us up.
Works for me,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
she's head down slightly, still very straight up, and standing. I'm gonna say she sleeps standing sometimes. She's a tree person.
Okay.
Question.
Answer.
For Sleepy, normally we refill all of the HP that we lost. Is that affected by the miasma?
I'm going to say no. If you get
Awesome.
if you manage to get a long rest in, you can refill all of your hit points.
And then it's half of your total surges?
You get all your total surges back.
Hey, let's go.
It's only on healing with your surges that it's halved.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Welcome, welcome to 4th edition, where like the numbers actually make sense.
All right.
Oh, morning.
She like sways slightly. I take it we were not accosted during the evening.
As far as I know, I poked in on Ruth and Rakel, and they seemed alright.
She seemed a little sweaty while she was sleeping, but hopefully she's all right.
Kid did not check that closely.
As you're discussing this, Triss, I want to say that like you look down through the window, and it's hard to tell. You're not entirely certain, but you have an inkling of an idea that there might be an extra set of footprints outside from what you had seen the previous night.
Cool. She's gonna go see if Rakel's up. Where do I find you, friend?
I mean, you find me in the room where you left me. There's just uh this new like mantle this like mahogany fur mantle around her, and her armor has definitely changed a little bit.
Did you acquire a new outfit?
Yeah, something like that. Did did my snare go off?
It did not. But you go to like take it down, and you realize that there is something. Where exactly is the snare set up? Like what are the like exact bounds of it?
It was the entrance to wherever we were staying.
Okay. So scratched into the earth in front of the door um is some sort of symbol.
What kind of symbol?
Um Looking at it, it seems to have origins in primordial. So give me a check of some sort, probably nature, to try and decipher it.
20.
20. I'm gonna say that's just enough. Um, this symbol represents, first of all, protection, and second of all, health. Looking at this, you kind of get the idea that, like, this is a component for something you could use to hold back the miasma. Briefly. If you were able to bind this sigil to an item, perhaps. And it wouldn't last forever, but you could use gold as a component in, say, a ritual to do this. You have learned the ritual Delay Affliction.
Neat.
I'll send you a link.
Cool.
Are you?
I'm gonna try and find the huntsman spider, and it is distracted in a corner with a whole ass mouse.
Okay. That's just the way things go sometimes.
Except the mouse is very dead. It has always been dead.
Morning has come.
I will tell Rakel about the footsteps.
Do the footsteps lead up to where the primordial sigil?
Mm-hmm. You
Okay.
can go out and check on that, and yeah, you put together that there's a new set of footprints, and it goes right up to where that sigil was drawn. And it's very conspicuously right before the edge of where your snare began.
She ponders.
She ponder quietly
Yep.
to herself. This is all a part of Rakel's inner world. In Rakel's outer world, how are Triss, Kid, and Ruth spending their morning?
Ruth, I feel, finally gets up. Checks to see if anyone's made coffee.
Oh, the smell of toast beans, bacon, and eggs.
The 3 food groups. Yeah, I think Ruth will, there is less pep in his step than there normally is, I would think. But he'll go over, he'll make himself some food, or he'll get a plate of food up, get some coffee. All right, so, what is the plan for the day? We're burning this place to the ground, or we start here, or we start a bigger,
I'd like to do some
Building or
recon
something.
first before we start burning things to the ground. I want to know where they hole up.
Whoever it is who makes coffee finds a note from Jacob saying that he has gone out on another deconstruction job and he'll be back eventually.
Good, he's out of the town. No one, don't want to hurt him. Seems nice.
He is quiet. Well, I think we should go, I suppose we should have a plan, huh, before we start running in. But something very powerful is causing this area to be afflicted by the smog and the stopping of the circle, so perhaps we find the cause of that as opposed to, I mean, we could just go kill them. That seems to be what we do, but I was thinking outside the box.
In where it hurts. That'd be funny too.
You mean stealing all their gold?
Well, it's gonna be part of the process. We are here to kill Von Ferrum.
Or at least get him to give us all of his gold. But he's, if I remember correctly, more on the bureaucratic side of things. I don't think he's going to be willing to cough up the coinage anytime soon. One of the folks who'd rather die than give it up, so makes it easy as far as what we got to do.
I propose we spend today scouting out the city, get the lay of the land, come back here.
Can I propose something to your propose?
Sure.
Disguises? We sort of were on a big display and then loosed a beast into town that we haven't even checked up on to see what the ramifications of that were. Our faces are on wanted posters from here all the way to Glimmer.
I mean, it's a bit of a given we go in disguise.
Look, if I didn't say it out
How much
loud,
blood have you lost?
it's not about the blood that's lost, it's about the blood you got back. My legs don't feel right. Anyways.
Not doing much for my confidence there, old timer.
Look, I just need to, if we could go to like a big mountainous area with wide open spaces of fresh air, I think that would do my old
If I could just shove a
constitution.
bunch of Kalen steak in my gullet, I'll be fine.
Get that iron up.
Anybody ever think about using blood as bullets?
That seems like it would be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, until you run out of blood.
Well, I mean, at that point, you're also out of bullets, so you might as well be dead. That being
Kid
said,
changes his duster from the black leather to a dusty, like, worn brown. He'll spoof up his outfit to match as well and put a bandana over his mouth.
How's everyone else disguising themselves?
I
Remember,
don't know. I'm a tree.
have
I will
law.
always be.
You
I
have law. You
guess.
can use law.
Also, to be fair, it's mostly Kid and Ruth whose faces have been made.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
I would say that the person firing a sniper rifle from the front row seats might also, like, the tree human might also be a little bit recognizable in that. Like, the only person I think who's good probably is Rakel,
Who let out the wild beast.
but did so in an unpopulated area.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically populated.
Well, it's populated now, but where the beast was released was unpopulated.
Who's gonna identify her, the beast?
The ghost.
It was her! Yeah,
Raquel
Ruth
has never done
is...
anything wrong in her life.
She has
That's
not.
true. It's
We
true.
know this and we love her.
I know this, sweetie. And I love you.
Ruth is... He's gonna law up a poncho. Cover all of his stuffs.
Yaha.
And then he'll have a hat that is always a little bit down, so that way you can't see his eyes. You can only see his mouth, and he'll have like a cigarello hanging out of his mouth. He's gonna look like a real Clint Eastwood type.
Tristan's gonna turn into a lizard folk. She's just gonna be her hot friend.
Okay. Works for me. Raquel, I'm gonna remind you, this new ritual that you've learned. This delay affliction. The wording of it is like, not exact. But I'm gonna say that if you use this ritual, you can remove the negative effects of the miasma from
sure.
someone.
For 30 minutes.
It takes 30 minutes to cast the ritual. You make a check to decide for how long you can delay it. There's a
Oh.
table at the bottom.
Oh. Okay.
It's a little more useful.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Raquel is going to Raquel is gonna be right back. And she goes hunting.
That changes things, right?
She goes hunting.
Okay. Raquel nips out the door. Does she explain where she's going?
Nope.
Okay.
She does say, please don't leave until I get back.
Ruth will just make a plate of food and set it out to where Rakel would normally sit. Just be here when you get back.
Tris goes with her. Stop breaking the party up. No one is alone.
Okay.
Rabbit, small game, anything of that side. Raccoon, armadillo.
Okay. I feel like an armadillo is thematically appropriate for this.
And first off, how was it doing before she ended it?
I'm not gonna lie, not super great. Like, ideally when you're hunting, you want like good, like healthy fur, like good hides, like well fed, like good fat reserves. For this time of year, it's awful skinny, and like there are signs of disease. And you have to look for a while. Like the game is not very plentiful.
She will take the time uh to harvest it and fashion. Ruth, do you want an armadillo hat?
That sounds awesome. I would love one.
Okay. Uh, she will fashion 3 totems and an armadillo hat. Out of this. Uh, each with the delay affliction. Delay affection.
Delay affection.
No catching feelings here.
Oh, look at me, getting off from withholding.
So that'll be 100 gold.
Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Correct. Yes. Go ahead and give me a heal check.
I'm gonna speak with the spirits first.
Yeah, feel free. You can add a 6 to that. Sick. I got you at a 25. This will last you a week.
All right. So
yeah, go ahead.
Raquel will come back with like 3 anklets and an armadillo hat. The anklets are it's like a very quickly tanned leather with some of the bones with the from the armadillo just like hangs like sort of around it with the sigils carved like alongside the length of them. And the armadillo hat, the sigil is just like underneath the top.
Have to imbue this with law. And when you do so, it will like give each of these items kind of like gold embossing, and that's the cost of the ritual. And even as like the gold is on there, like even as freshly applied, you can kind of like run your hand over it and feel a little bit of gold dust sort of like wear away. And over the course of a week, that all that gold will eventually be gone, and that will be the end of the ritual.
Here, slap this off.
Thanks. What are they?
Slap it on. Ruth, we did not hear you.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like the entire time that Rakel and Triss have been out hunting this armadillo, it's been Kid and Ruth doing the changing room montage where, like, they go in, law up a different disguise, come back out, like, arms crossed, like, that's not the one that we're looking for, and then
At some
changing
point, Kid like steps out in like the big poofy skirt, like House on the Prairie, like dolled up.
room.
One
Ruth,
of us
like,
is
gives
thumbs
a
up.
thumbs
Yeah,
up.
the other one's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, so Ruth, taking this, will take off his hat, that he normally wears, and then he'll put on the armadillo hat, and look towards, he'll look towards Kid, and just, what do you think? And it's just this armadillo shell flat top, if we're going by the picture at all. It's that is
Here's a
such
picture.
a wild hat, like.
For the podcast listeners, I don't know if you have seen the 2000 whatever Dukes of Hazzard movie with Jessica Simpson in it, but
It's from
that's
Dukes
where
of
the armadillo
Hazzard.
hat is from.
Okay, thank God. Honestly, I thought that dude, we might have had to ask where he was on January 6th. Like,
No,
it looks like the kind of thing.
No, we're not having that
Dukes of
conversation.
Hazzard instead.
Can't talk about that.
Yahoo.
It looks great,
I-
Ruthie.
I was Googling like armadillo hat. I want to see what like I was like, surely this is a thing. Like, you know, that there's like raccoon skin hats, there's like I mean like there's hats made out of every animal in the sun under the sun. I wasn't finding any armadillo hats. That's
It's a deep cut.
it's simultaneously exactly what I was expecting and nowhere but also like nothing in my body was able to prepare
Prepared.
me for what
Yeah.
I'm looking at. Yeah.
It's a deep cut, but nice in the courtyard.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, if you want to see it, nip into Nights in the Courtyard, fair listeners. Okay.
How you feeling?
He'll let the magic take hold. This dissuades the effects of the miasma.
Yes.
What mechanically?
it will-
Yeah.
What mechanically does it do?
Yeah.
I will say, like you will discover this as you go out into the town and interact once more. It has removed the negative effects of being like of having your healing. But wherever your perception of ghosts was at, when like the ritual was completed, it remains there.
Okay.
So like Ruth is pretty close to like being able to like can see them pretty clearly and can hear them pretty clearly. So he's like he can still see and hear them.
He was a strong gust away from being one of them himself yesterday, so it's pretty strong.
Yep. Did Kid lose a whole lot of hit points in that fight?
He went down to bloodied.
Bloodied. Okay, I think it bloodied. You can fully see them with like a little bit of distortion, and you have to listen carefully in order to be able to actually hear them.
Otherwise, it's just the wails of the damned.
Yeah. And then Rakel, I'm gonna say that you can see them as like shapes and shadows. Detail is a little bit more difficult, but like, you know, you could probably pick out a silhouette. You're basically face blind with ghosts. Likewise, I might even make you make a perception check to be able to hear them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so first order of
So-
business. Post breakfast, we all have our charms and disguises.
Oh, I'm never without my charm.
Oh, you. Where is it that we're planning on going? What are we starting with? We going back to the casino to raise a ruckus? We want to go to the Dr. Barber veterinarian surgeon who straight up kidnapped me and kid and just be like, hey, what the hell, lady?
God, it'd be so fun if we get back in there. She don't recognize us. We do the whole like filling the thing again and the same song and dance. Like, y'all have law?
Did Jake ever point us to where the 4 men were?
I think he did.
Yeah, they have a meeting sometime this or next week.
Later this week. A couple days, I do declare.
Where's it supposed to be?
That is a very good question.
I could just start asking around. It's not that hard to find things when you can talk to the residents.
Fucking Jacob could very well have told you when and where and how to get there. No reason to withhold that information from you. I feel like that would be readily available to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that there is a factory that the foreman's office is in, and it's in the industrial part of town. And he's got
do it.
open hours every weekday morning.
I say we pay these 4 men a visit.
Question.
Foremen.
Right.
The previous day, Rakel tried to make friends with a dead rat.
Indeed.
Is that dead rat in the industrial part of town?
Could be. Why?
Because I want to go make friends with the dead rat.
Okay. Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I will spend 50 more gold to try and imbue the egg with law to delay the affection. Yes, to
Delay the
avoid the
affliction, that
feelings,
sounded-
to delay the affliction.
Okay, sure. Give me a healing check.
$17.
17.
So 3 days.
3 days. Yep. You do this ritual, and you take out the gold that you need to do it. And like I imagine that you just kind of like crush it between your fingers. It turns into this dust, which falls down in a shower over the dead rat. And gosh, it really is like polishing a turd, pouring gold over a rat corpse, isn't it? But it flows down and intermingles with its bones and its open innards and over this hummingbird-sized egg. And you sit and you wait, and for a moment it feels like nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. When you see a slight movement, and the egg wriggles just slightly, and you realize that it has been quickened. It has begun the hatching process.
Rakel is going to take this dead rat and keep it with her.
Okay. Works for
That
me.
is all.
Rakel obtains a rat. Triss, I want you to roll me just a flat d20. Just to determine something that I've left up to fate.
17.
Works for me. All right. So like how are you guys moving through the town in order to get to the industrial area? Are you like going through populated zones to try and, like sort of stress test these disguises, or are we like sticking to like the side streets and trying to avoid people? Like what's the deal? How are we doing this?
I think the least conspicuous thing to do is a combination of main street, side alley, main street to lose anyone tailing us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just look like we've been here before and we know shortcuts to get to where we need to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are nipping through side alleys and the like. When Triss, you see out the corner of your eye, and in fact, I think you'll hear like the sound of like a trash can being jostled. And you turn, you look, and you see a jostled trash can. But then you see what appears to be a little ghost girl kind of poke her head from around. And she steps into view. And as you approach, you realize that she's similarly faceless
Mm-hmm.
to a number of ghosts you've seen now. Um, but she opens her mouth, which you realize she has. It's like the last facial feature she has left.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Message for you."
Oh, yes.
She reaches into her little apron pocket. She's barefoot. She's wearing like a plaid prairie dress. And she hands you an envelope. And the envelope is sealed. Like it's very nice looking stationery. And it has a poker hand sort of stamped on it. It's 2 black aces, 2 black eights, and 1 unrevealed card.
Mm. She uses her finger to open it up, see what's inside.
It's not addressed to anyone, in such a way that it seems that the person who sent it is being respectful of you going under the radar here.
Mm-hmm.
And the letter begins with, "Never let it be said that dead man hands doesn't keep his promises."
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And included in this letter is the location of Baron von Ferrum.
Ah. She like looks at the note, puts it back in, folds it back up, and she looks to the little girl and says, "Thank you for your kindness. I don't have anything to give you unless there's something you need from me."
She like seems to have been like waiting, for like a tip or something. And then kind of like there's that like awkward moment of like, oh, and she like kind of takes a couple of steps away, like watching you as though like maybe somehow a tip is still going to happen.
Ruth will
She
give
can't get
her a
money,
tip.
right? Well, can they take money? They
Try.
can't interact with.
I mean, I imagine Ruth tries. He'll like she puts out her hand and you try and give her some gold, and it just falls to the floor.
How did she deliver a letter if she can't hold things?
It's a ghost letter. Dead man hands is a ghost.
Does anyone
Come
have
on,
any
Ruth,
ghost
get
porn?
with it. Obviously.
Can I make?
There, I do have the location of the Baron if we'd like to go there.
Well,
That's gonna
that's
be-
Are we?
That's going
Are
to
we-
be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
The Baron stays on his special private rail line, which is always in movement and only comes to Leafy Springs during budget negotiations.
Ah. So we derail the train. I'm so excited.
we stick a bunch of dynamite on the rails
Mhm,
outside of
mhm.
town.
One of the
and
on one of the bridges, so that it goes off into the ravine and it explodes.
we were given dynamite, and now we will use it.
Uh-huh.
God,
Anyways.
Have
I'm so
boom, will
happy
travel.
for you.
Okay, is the Baron's train on an? I mean, we were told that most of the rails around here are now non-functional.
Yes.
The Baron's is one that is still functional.
Evidently. The letter tells you this information, and then sort of implies that you're going to have to figure out the rest from there.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows, like, mysteriously, the Baron's train pulls into the station during budget negotiations.
Mm.
Also, all of the rails are, like, tore up and destroyed. So, like, it's like a magic ghost train that shows up during negotiations, and no one knows how it pulls into the station. By all accounts, it should be impossible.
I mean, if the train itself just repairs the rail it rides on, then that would work.
It's a metaphor. If you lay the track ahead of you.
All you have to do to teach piano is to stay one lesson ahead of the kid.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth has a how do I explain it? There is a memory that Ruth has, a delusion, you might say. Something sounds similar. A train capable of impossible feats would ring as familiar for Ruth.
Yeah. It does.
There was a stage play I went to once where all the actors were on skates and they all pretended to be trains in
Oh
outer
my God.
space.
That's a deep cut.
It was horrible. It was so dangerous.
It was really
Oh,
dangerous.
so dangerous. They still do it. I don't know.
None of the actors were trained skaters. They
No,
learned how to skate for the musical.
I have so
Anyways.
many more questions related to that, but none of them have to do with the game.
talk
Tonight's in
about
the
it after.
courtyard.
Yes,
Sorry, we're
yes,
so
please.
easily distractible tonight.
No, that's okay. I think Ruth, the idea that he gets is so if the Baron only comes once a week during negotiations and we don't know what rail he's going to be taking to get here because the train magically appears places as trains are wont to do, apparently. What if we make a reason for that train to come early. This town, metaphorically speaking, is that Baron's bread and butter. But if we destroy something that's able to help him turn a profit, he's going to want to know where the holdup is. The foreman is based out of a factory. We still need to find out where or what is making miasma.
Did we ever come to a conclusion what this factory produces?
Not a clue. I'm guessing ghosts.
I'm guessing the byproduct is miasma.
If that's the case, stop the miasma. Stop the factory. Talk to the foreman.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Something sort of like that, yeah.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Go ahead, I suppose. That and... we could talk about it later. Let's figure this out.
Factory.
Factory. I also would like to ask that we scope the factory out first before we blow it up.
And if we're using fake names as part of the disguise, I want to be Armadillo Daniel. On account of the hat.
Why don't you just be Armadaniel?
Well, if anything, I would be Armadillon, if that's the name that we're going for.
Armadillon. Ah, that is so much better.
I'm Dillo Dan.
The name's Dillo Daniel.
Owner of the Dimsdale Dale.
And now I'm looking for you. Oh, maybe that's the angle that we go for. Is that like I'm a business owner and we're looking for strapping young workers, and we need to talk to the foreman because we need help. We've heard that they're good at deconstructing towns, and what about constructing towns? And we've come all this way. It would be a shame not to at least talk to us.
Sure.
Which one of you fellas is Dilla Daniel?
Who you
Okay.
calling Bonehead?
You go to the factory, which is found in the industrial district, which honestly is just kind of an offshoot of the entertainment district, as it appears that this entire town the whole town used to be the industrial district. Everything that's in the entertainment district is just refurbished, reused buildings that originally were factories or forges or sawmills and the like. You start heading in that direction, and I want to say that you turn a corner, you come to a street that is fairly short, and you see at the end of it there's like a stark cutoff on buildings, and it opens up to quite a large field, and you see dozens and dozens of you had just come from the Squall Lands, and you're reminded of the time that you saw like all of those holes, like sort of equidistant from each other, like were dug by that fucking crazy Sheriff Hall who was looking for treasure. Like I want to say that like you're struck by that image, and you feel like, oh, they're holes, and then you realize, oh, these are not like divots, these are not like recesses into the ground, these are extruded, and then you come to realize, oh, those are stumps.
That don't seem bueno. Have we come across any other life? Has
I mean, the armadillo.
I mean,
it's very sparse, and looking at this, those of you who are more inclined to recognize nature, you come to realize Death Valley didn't always used to be a desert. There is evidence of something much more verdant, much more green, much more lively here. But no more.
Fogs killed all the fauna and flora.
And as if to confirm your suspicions, you roll up to the factory and you see these gigantic stovepipes just like belching this dark purple gas into the sky and forming the miasma around you.
What was that line? Mischief, mischief?
You just said the same word twice. I don't know if that's a line.
Yeah, it's a line in that musical I was talking about when we got hauled off into the arena. I will loop this back to Sweeney Todd.
Oh, okay.
So you guys said you wanted to like give this place like a look over before you actually went in and quote unquote burned it down.
Yes, please.
So, like, what are you looking for specifically?
Points of egress and exits. Ingress and egress. Guards.
Entrances, exits, that sort of thing. As you approach, you kind of get the idea that like being this close to the source of the miasma would have been particularly bad for you, if it weren't for the protections that you received from Rakel. Everybody give me perception checks, or, argue different checks to me for how you're looking.
I'd like to
scouting.
look for a Urkai and fuse shaped hole that I can dive into to blow open the gates.
I'm gonna look for the ghost situation here.
Yay.
What is about? What's this place about?
What is this place about?
What is that?
Okay. I'm gonna say that Kid is the one who kind of comes to the conclusion that the miasma would be much more of a problem, because that's kind of the most obvious thing that y'all are looking at. Triss, you're specifically trying to see like what the ghost situation is here. I will tell you. In the entertainment district, you would see many well-to-do ghosts having a rip-roaring good time. They're dressed well. They have very strong wills, strong personalities, and a wealth of soul coins to fritter away on everything. On the surface of things, in the industrial area, you would suspect that this place is devoid of ghosts. And then you begin to realize that no, actually, they are always kind of like hanging out in your peripheral vision. They turn away from you, they keep their heads down, they shuffle along on their business, and they do seem to have business. And whenever you like force them to look at you, or you seek out their faces, you find that they are nowhere to be found.
They're they're all faceless.
No face.
Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but yes.
It is not cool. And they're very much coded as like lower class. Like these are the ones who have no soul coin, it seems. And like their wills are not very strong as a result of that. And it even seems that some of them have jobs. Like you can see like a number of them filing into the factory and like punching cards and going about their days.
Yeah. Okay.
You even see some ghosts that like it's abnormal to you because they don't seem to have any sort of identifying features. They are just shapes.
Yeah. But they're not gonna tell on us.
You hope not.
Yeah.
Ruth, what are you specifically looking for around the factory?
So, Ruth, I don't think that he was necessarily looking. I know that we had come to look specifically for the factory, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that that's what Ruth ends up trying to look for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's one of those things that Triss had brought up, which is that her backstory, like her where she's from,
Mm-hmm.
was this very verdant place that people lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Ruth, if anything, is trying to check around where these stumps are, if they're like from like a anthropological
Mm.
standpoint of like, were there dwellings here, like did people live in the woods and then the woods cleared out and people can't live there anymore. So I think
Mm.
he's not necessarily looking for a way in. He already knows that like that fucker's coming down one way or the other, but he's kind of searching about to see on a scale of 1 to rightly pissed how mad should he be.
Okay. Um,
And he got a
I think
15, so like I don't think that he's going to be finding a whole lot, but
I think you poke around in the woods here, and there is nothing here that Ruth specifically would identify as a dwelling.
okay. Um one
But
thing
like it is clear to him.
yeah.
Like he's an outdoorsman, he's a frontiersman. He knows his way around the woods and stuff like that. This was once a place of plenty. And in a way that like uh old money bags from out east would not like recognize as anything other than something to exploit
Yeah.
and strip of resources until there was nothing left.
Um I think he'll probably end up getting distracted counting the rings on one of these stumps.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Wow, that hurt in a way, I didn't expect.
I
Oh
grew
no,
up, indoor fact, I grew up in a small logging town. I am very
oh no, the
familiar with what it
feels.
looks like after the mill's done.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. Um, and Raquel, what are we looking for?
I'm looking for what what is like the point of intake. Like if this factory is still like operating, if it's still pulling in something, if it still
Hmm.
requires fuel to make all of this. I want to find that point of entry.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
you can circumnavigate the building and have a look. There is a couple of places where you are blocked off by these tall wrought iron gates, and there seems to be like some sort of yard that they keep some sort of valuable minerals or once did. Um, and you see that there is like some smaller doors where like people are supposed to enter through, possibly workers, visitors, and the like. And then there is a larger entrance and likewise a larger exit on the other side of the building where trains used to be brought through. Um, and this is on the other side of the gate. Looking through the gate, you can see that they do have like boxcars with no engine that are hooked up to what looks like enormous artifice, uh, large creatures that are basically pulling the boxcars like a horse pulls a cart. Um, and it's like some weird amalgamation of necromancy and artifice that these things are being are comprised of. And as you're looking, you do notice that a lot of the labor is being performed by either like skeletons, enormous like sort of like bone beasts that are like ratcheted together with gears, and this strange like blue glowing fuel source. Um, there are any number of different constructs that are being used as basically pack mules, dumb labor.
The fuel source is not accessible to me.
No. How long do you all spend scouting out the factory?
Couple of minutes at most. Because I don't think we'd see a lot from outside. We'd have to go in to get more of a idea of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say like 15 minutes before we enact Ruth's plan? Is that what we're going with?
No one has said a different plan.
I like it. I'm in.
Well,
Let's
well,
go.
catch me up. Like we've diverted a little bit with the scouting. What exactly is Ruth's plan again?
My name is Armadillo Daniel, and I'm
yeah,
looking
that's
to
right.
perform my own form of homesteading. I need strapping individuals. The bigger and cheaper, the better. Oh boy, do I love money.
Yeah, you got it, Ruthie.
This is just capitalist dungeon inspectors.
Dormammu,
Okay.
we're here to make a deal.
This is fine. This is gonna go great. Nothing could go wrong.
Show me around the factory, Mr. Foreman. Let's take a brief walk next to this giant vat of acid. Don't worry, I'm testing
Tell
the
me all your
structural and-
factory's vulnerabilities. That won't come into play later.
Definitely not.
You got like one support beam where we could take it down and the whole thing just goes with it for no apparent reason?
The key beam. Yeah, if y'all are ready, let's go in and dungeon inspect.
Let's do it.
Sounds good to me. All right. Y'all just heading in through the front door?
Ruth is gonna use gold to like make his beard seem a lot more like well-oiled and groomed. He's wearing a fancier coat that has no dust on it, but the armadillo hat is very there and very prominent. If anything, he's wearing more like beigey, sandy colored clothes to help accent and bring out the gold infused into the armadillo. It's handmade, you know.
Bespoke.
Oh my God. Okay. Is everybody else's cover like he's like workers?
My
or, like, what's
entourage.
your entourage? Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Bodyguard and entourage.
Bodyguard, accountant, and survivalist.
Let's see. All right. I imagine you walk in like you own the place.
Yes, of course. Hands, one hand behind my back, just sort of like motioning at large pieces of machinery. Yes. A fine vintage.
You walk in, and there's kind of an entryway. I'd say that there's like a number of offices. And when you walk in, you find this to be a bustling place. There are ghosts walking by. There are skeletons walking by. They all seem busy, either carrying tools or papers or like buckets full of this like blue glowing coal. Um, and you walk in, and I'll say that there's like a realizing I don't know shit about factories. I'm all like, all right, Fallout 4, what does this shit look like? um I'd say that there would you would have to have a place where you get like essentially buzzed in, but this is like old-timey stuff, so there's probably just like a person with a clipboard. um I'm gonna
A
say that
floor
they're,
manager.
yeah, a floor manager essentially. Yes. Would they trust a construct for this job? I'm gonna say that there's a construct and a ghost that are standing by a there
Water
is a
cooler.
wrought iron gate, and then there's like a door that like um these guys, like whenever somebody needs to go through the gate, like they check a clipboard and like check it off and then like wave them through. It appears that this is going to be your point of egress. Am I using that word right?
Yeah, egress is a point of exit.
Egress is like exit, but like how do you get in?
Yeah.
Ingress.
Ingress.
This is your point of ingress.
Ingress to get in,
I've
egress to
learned
get
something.
exit.
Makes so much sense. All right. Yeah, this is your point of ingress.
Yeah. Ruth will walk up to the clipboard carrier. Just, you there.
The ghost. The ghost standing next to the skeleton with a clipboard says name.
Armadillo Daniel.
He kind of like looks confused for a second, and then like looks up at you. Do you have an appointment?
Have you not heard of me?
He doesn't give you anything, like just completely deadpan. This is one of the few guys with a face here. He might as well not have one.
I may not have an appointment, but I have enough gold that I don't think that your boss would mind too much. I'm looking to inquire about his services.
Gold doesn't usually get you too far around here. And he kind of like looks over the clipboard and then like seems to think of something, and he says, well, the foreman's open hours are right about now. He like checks a pocket watch.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? I'm about to go on my break.
Yes, enjoy your luncheon. Perhaps a finger sandwich with cucumber would do you well on this day.
Sure, just make sure you sign in.
Yeah,
And like
Armadillo
that ghost
Daniel.
just kind of like wanders off, and you see him like just literally like pull like a granola bar out of his pocket, and it goes like directly into his mouth. No, actually, fuck, no, we're in Wild West times, baby. He pulls out like some fucking chewing tobacco, like in a stick, like that goes directly in his mouth. The skeleton makes no move to stop you or anything. He just holds out his clipboard so you can sign in.
Armadillo Daniel. Big swathy swoops.
All right, he steps aside. But if anybody tries to follow you in, like the skeleton will step back in the way and then hold out that clipboard again.
Ah, yes, my faithful crew. My entourage, be sure to sign in your names. Jeffrey, Janice, and
Broom.
Rakel has the clipboard and writes down Rachel.
I
Rachel.
thought you were about to write down Jeffrey. God, that's so funny.
I write down Jeffrey.
Yes, thank you.
Janice. But it's
Oh,
Jauns.
It's all I would have ever wanted. All right. You guys are waved through the gate, and this actually leads out onto a scaffolding that overlooks the entire like forge floor. And what you see is a bunch of like skeleton constructs basically on a conveyor belt, like a construction line. Um, where like it's just human skeletons with these like machined parts and then like workers like ghosts and skeletons alike that are just like putting them together. Like the conveyor belt goes down and then like there's clearly like one guy whose job it is to like ratchet on an arm, and then like it goes down and then there's like one guy whose job it is to put on a leg. It like they have a whole system figured out here. And then, like, on the other side of the line, you can see that there is a conveyor belt that is rumbling along with these, with coal, black coal, going into some sort of forge that is billowing that miasma up into the air. And then the coal comes out the other end glowing blue. And then there's a number of other like more specialized lines where you see like larger, more bulky constructs being put together.
My word, truly innovation, the forefront of industry. He's just sort of looking around for a
Ruth.
foreman.
Yes.
Or a human, if anything, like a living person.
You're not gonna find a lot of that actually. You walk down this scaffolding and like a couple of a couple of ghosts kind of like sort of like nudge around you or through you. It's kind of a two-way here. And like uh, I I don't know if OSHA would be able to write you up here, but I don't think they would be super happy with like the width of this scaffold.
It's not meant for people. It's meant for ghosts.
Mm-mm. And you get to the other end of it, and you're basically on the other side of the building at this point, and there is a number of offices set up here, all with their windows darkened and their doors shut, except for one, like right in the very back corner where you can see the light is on and the door is open. And written on the glass backwards because the door is open is Foreman Firearms.
Ruth will sidle on up and tap on the door. You? Are you the foreman? May I have a word?
Oh God, you sound eccentric.
He'll pull out a little handkerchief and wipe off the part of his hand that could have possibly touched dust.
You walk in, and what you find is a very messy office. There are papers stacked everywhere, just sort of like loose parts on the floor. There is one, like exactly one, rickety chair opposing the desk, which is likewise just ramshackle with detritus and litter. And sitting behind the desk is a bright, like orange skinned Genasi. And his hair is kind of smoldering. He's got mutton chops on either side. Um, Kid, I think you would recognize that, like, if you were in a better mood or a uh, more aroused emotionally, like that would begin to like, flames would begin to like lick up on either side of his face. But otherwise, it's just kind of like smoldering like coals on top of his head, in the shape of, kind of a hairstyle. And then like there's just sort of like these sooty sideburns that come down and turn into like a very close cropped facial hair shape on his chin and mustache area. This guy has dark circles under his eyes. And he kind of like reaches for an ashtray in front of him, which you see is just piled up with cigarettes and like cigar buds stubs. And he picks up the cigar that he's clearly been like working his way through. And he sticks it in his mouth. And like you can see like an ember glow like between his teeth as he lights it with his teeth. And then he turns around and he sticks the cigar in his mouth. And he leans forward and he says, "Sorry, I've had an eventful night."
Oh, well, I will try and not take up too much of your time. My name is Armadillo Daniel, and these are my compatriots. We've come from out of town. We were told by individuals along the road, one Jeremy Crow, what's his name? Jacob. By one Jacob Crow, that you were in charge of operations, deconstructing, and I was quite curious. Are you in the market for reconstructing? I would like to turn my investment into a homesteading opportunity, and I only want the best business for my new town.
Jake sent you my way, huh?
Yes! A charming man.
I told Jake to send any living folk he saw over my way to look for work. You here looking for work?
I'm looking to acquire your work, yes. Was that a difference in conversation, mayhaps?
He kind of chuckles to himself. It is a mirthless chuckle. He doesn't find any joy in this at all. And as he does so, like way more smoke than like that cigar could have possibly produced kind of pours out of his mouth. You realize there's a haze just sort of like clinging to the ceiling of this office. And he's gonna kind of stand up. You realize that he has like very strong arms, like biceps and forearms like the size of your head. And he's going to say, "I don't think you can afford me."
Well, what is your asking rate, good sir? Perhaps we figure out an agreement of sorts.
More than you have.
Try me.
And Ruth will pull out 1,500 of the gold that he has on him.
Uh-huh.
And just sort of jangle it.
Money bag symbol on the
Oh,
money
yeah,
bag.
yeah. That's how you know it's filled with the money.
He like you can see his eyebrows kind of shoot up a little bit, and he like sort of like sucks on that cigar a little bit harder, and you watch it go like shh, and like ash like fall down. And when he exhales, no smoke comes out. Maybe we can have a conversation. And he reaches over and he flicks a switch on his desk, and the door slams shut.
God damn it, not again.
All right,
I guess
where's
that's where
the
we'll leave off
displacer
this
beast?
week.
Incredible! Look, our dungeon inspecting has never failed to provide results. Whether those are good
Not
results or
once.
bad results is besides the point, because it's a results-oriented adventure. With that being said, Wings, thank you so much for running this game. I have a blast whenever you're on the channel. Where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, gosh. Hey, everybody. I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, most related to D&D, and a lot of things on this channel. So go and check that out, DanaeKeener.com.
That's up to me. Hey, everybody. My name is RJ. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter, Twitch, and most other social medias. I'm doing a lot of things on the interwebs, so come check out my socials, because I usually retweet whenever we do things. DonateKinner.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Instagrams. I'll be on Hack Recklessly's YouTube and Spotify and Twitch. YouTube, we are coming out with our final episode of Hell Mall tomorrow, the thrilling conclusion with the actual Jacob Crow. And Lex, friend of the channel, Lex and Latula sings. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming on Noir's channel, friend of the channel. Noir, he's running a Marvel game. And we're all playing villains, so I get to play my villain. I'm very excited about that. Wednesday, I'll be live on Nerd Immersions doing Finally Back to Our Lost Minds of Fandelver. Thursday, I'm going to be live on Critic Chronicles doing the last episode of our My Hero Academia game. Friday, I'll be streaming by myself. Probably I'll invite people to play with me, but Ren will be out on Hack Recklessly. Saturday, I'm dark. I'm not doing shit. Sunday, I'm back for D&D level 15 game. I am gonna be busy this week. Excited for it though. TodayKeener.com.
Boy, I'm Cyber. I'm here on Mondays. This Friday, we will have the finale of Sigil and Shadow on High Shelf Collective. And finish up that game. I'm a CS major who's realizing there's magic. So clearly the world is a simulation. And then on Sundays, I am on this channel running the Planescape game. The characters, some of them have died, and now they are loose in Sigil. We will figure out how that turns out. Rats are also involved in that game. DonateKinner.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point. Or you can go towards where Anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you would like to join us for that, you can again go to patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. But with that, we are going to be heading out, so I'd like to say once again, thank you to Wings for running this incredible game. Thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. And, of course, thank you to these players for putting up with our bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you next time. All right, everybody. See you soon!